Safitri. I'm a student of Department English Education in Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. I'm from 4C and my student number is 68. Okay, in my previous video, I'm retelling the stories from the novel that I've read before. But now it was a little bit different. Why? Because now I will review a textbook. My title is Language Education in the Primary Years by Frances Christie. The book has published in 2005, but sorry, I don't know the specific date. And the publisher is the University of New South Wales Press Ltd. This book consists of 248 pages and also has 13 chapters. Before creating this video, I searched a short biography about the author. She is Frances Christie. She was born on 18 September 1939 in Sydney, Australia, and now she is 82 years old. Now she is Emeritus Professor of Language and Literacy Education at the University of Melbourne and Honorary Professor of Education at the University of Sydney. She specializes in the field of systematic functional linguistics and has completed research in language and literacy education, writing development, pedagogy, grammar, genre theory, and teaching English as a mother tongue and as a second language. Okay, now let's start to review the book. Enjoy it! Okay, I will start from chapter 1. It's about language and literacy. This chapter briefly discusses theories about literacy, what is literacy, and dating from the later years of the 20th century. And chapter 1 has 3 sub-chapters. Okay, the next chapter is about early language learning. And this chapter talks about develop a functional account of early language learning, briefly examining early praise and focusing on function served in learning language. Identify the importance in language learning of interpersonal meanings and of experimental meanings. And chapter 2 consists of 6 sub-chapters. To chapters 3 about oral language in school. Okay, in general, these chapters explain about the importance of classroom talk in building school knowledge, and it has considered the role of the teachers in facilitating such talk and in scaffolding learning. And in chapter 3, it has 3 sub-chapters like chapters 1. Next is chapter 4 about speech and writing. Okay, in general, this chapter 4 discuss about outline 4 ways in general in which the grammatical organization and some of the grammatical differences between speech and writing of speech and writing differ. And some with other chapters in chapter 4 consists of 5 sub-chapters. Then I will explain about the chapters 5 about knowledge about language. In general, this chapter discuss about we have outlined some important knowledge about a language of a kind that teachers will need when working in the primary schools, and They should use the knowledge to guide and direct their students of learning English, of learning of language. And in chapter 5 has 5 sub-chapters. Next is chapter 6. Chapter 6 is about teaching reading. And briefly discuss about chapter 6 is what kind aspect of the history the teaching reading. And chapter 6 has 6 sub-chapters. The next is chapter 7. It's about teaching spelling. And these chapters discuss about examine aspect of English spelling and its teaching. And chapter 7 consists of 4 sub-chapters. We move to chapter 8. It's about visual literacy and learning to read. In general, chapter 8 explains about the importance of visual image in learning in early reading books that scaffold reading behavior, among other things, supporting the tendency to move from left to right in reading text. And the chapter 8 has 4 sub-chapters. Okay, we move to chapter 9. It's about the writing the early years of primary schools. And briefly discussion about this chapter is aspect of the writing development for young children in the first years. And chapter 9 consists of 6 sub-chapters. The next is chapter 10. It's about teaching writing the upper primary schools. Okay, in chapter 9, it's talk about overview of some type of the primary years and identify ways in which a number of language features and should change in children's writing as they mature and as they are taught to recognize and interpret and use the text involved. Okay, chapter 10 consists of 4 sub-chapters. Next to chapter 11. Chapter 11 about language and design. And briefly discussion about this chapter is we have reviewed some of the effect of the advent and of computer technology and the internet to associated developing in design. And chapter 11 has 5 sub-chapters. And move to chapter 12. It's about teaching literature. And this chapter discuss about review lessons to teaching literature in the primary schools and outlining ideas for use poetry, stories, and novels. And this chapter just consists of 3 sub-chapters. And the last chapter is chapter 13. It's about some issues for planning and assessment. This chapter discusses about we have proposed that language is both an instrument of teaching and learning and also an object of teaching and learning too. And that the both aspects of language work need to be borne in mind to developing English language program. And chapter 13 has 3 sub-chapters. Okay, let me know you guys. This book was very recommended for the future teachers who want to teach in the primary schools, because overall the content of this book is ways to teaching in the primary schools and what should we do as a teacher in primary schools, and also there are some material and knowledge about teaching in the primary schools. And that's all for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for watching my video.